Hello, welcome to the Policy Control Seamless and Flexible Interworking. My name is Paul Kuribula. I'm a product manager for the Nokia Policy Controller, which is the policy PCF PCRF for Nokia. In this demo, the policy function enhancements, which allow delivering advanced services while evolving legacy network assets, is presented. Current market situations are that CSPs are evolving to 5G. Support for legacy 2G, 3G during transition to 5G is also may be required. So our solution is to provide flexible interworking with different domains during evolution and support for new standards. The benefit is that you are decoupling upgrades and reducing costs. In this demo, there are 3 demo cases. The first one is for policy for 2G, 3G access in a 5G. In this case, we provide sample configurations for PCF to apply QoS for DRAM and Dutran. In the second demo, there's a 5G PCF interworking with a 4G OCS. Again, sample configurations for PCF to access and OCS will be provided. The third demo case is a 4G PCRF interworking with the 5G UDR. Again, sample configurations for PCRF to access the UDR over NUDR will be provided. In the first demo case, this is a 3GPP standard improvement called NESGU, and where previously 5G core handled only 5G radio access or 4G radio access. And if you needed 3G or a 2G radio access, then CSPs had to maintain a legacy core. So enhancements were made by 3GPP to support DRAM and Dutran by the 5G core. What this does is that it allows for decommissioning of legacy network functions and protocols. In NPC, there are rules that are there, and this is the UI for the Nokia Policy Controller. You can edit the rules, and you can search for the rules. I'm going to show some features, some aspects of the NESGU feature. So in this particular case, for 3G and 4G access, radio access type, there are rules that are there. And if it's a PDU type is UTRA, then we can apply certain policies. And if it is a 2G, then it's a GRAM access type, and then you can apply specific policies. We can also do other things related to 3G and 2G access, like specifying SGS and IP addresses, SGS and MCC, MNC as well. And they are all accessible from the PDU session. Second demo case is where legacy charging systems, NPC can work with legacy charging systems. Typically in a 4G environment, a PCRF, P gateway and OCS communicate over diameter for PCC rules. In the case of 5G, there is SMF, PCF, and CHF communicate over HTTP2 for using SBI. NPC allows 5G PCF to interwork with legacy charging system. What this does is decouples upgrading of a legacy charging system and the 5G core. This is the sample rule for N7 to SY demo, for N7 to SY. Here we are enabling SY on certain conditions. When in this particular case, when you have in the PDU session, if there's a field online is enabled, then we can enable a link to the we can enable SY can be enabled, and we can specify the host and the realm for that SY interface. So in this particular case, an N7 field is able to trigger SY setup. The third demo case is where legacy access can basically get to the UDR through NUDR. Typically, 4G PCRF retrieves policy data over LDAP. LDAP is defined as only in the protocol stage. It didn't have a defined data, a structure of the data. In 5G, PCF retrieves policy data over NUDR. In this case, both the protocol and the how the data structure has been defined by 3GPP. Now, NPC allows accessing the UDR through NUDR for when on legacy GX session establishment. So a 4G PCRF can now access the 5G UDR through NUDR. What this allows is the decommissioning of legacy NFs and protocols. You can set up, show how a UDR session can be enabled from the from when GX session is set up. So if you for in this particular rule, when any IMS or emergency for sessions which are not emergency or IMS APNs, UDR sessions are enabled, and they request the operator specific data from the UDR. So in the same way, you can enable other, you can use other fields to specify how to enable them. So other conditions can be used to enable the NUDR towards the 5G UDR. In summary, NPC supports legacy 2G, 3G. It decouples upgrades, and all of these things reduce the maintenance cost required by the CSPs. Thank you.